A very good evening to you. You're live here on GHOne TV. It's 6:30. Time for news tonight with me, Natalie, for a look at our top stories. Coming up this evening, trouble looms as the NDC files appeal against court's order to the Electoral Commission to complete collation of polling station results in 4 disputed constituencies.
As you can see, with us here is the notice of appeal and the subsequent stay application. It is something that we knew was going to happen. With the ruling on the prelim, it was clear where the judge was going.
Also coming up, outgoing majority in Parliament accused 2 members of the interim security team put together by President-elect GHOne Mahama of thuggery and inciting NDC supporters against MPP appointees.
Mr. Kofi Totobi-Kwachi and Colonel Larry Bavlolati retired are the key leaders of the NDC who are behind these NDC attacks.
Also ahead tonight, some prominent natives of the Cusack traditional area express optimism of the incoming GHOne Mahama administration's ability to resolve the age-old Bawku conflict. And in business this evening, unidentified men steal 150 bags of maize meant for senior high schools in Tamale. We bring you the details of these stories and much more news here on News Tonight. You can watch this bulletin all across the world on Facebook and X at GHOne TV. We begin in court as the High Court in Accra has ordered the Electoral Commission, EC, to collate the results of all outstanding polling stations. Results at Tema Central, Ablekuma North, Okainkwe Central and Techiman South constituencies and declare the winner on or before January 6, 2025. The court presided over by Justice Forsin Bar Ejipong made the order after granting the 4 NPP candidates their respective applications for mandamus to compel the EC to perform its public functions. However, the National Democratic Congress immediately filed a notice of appeal and a stay of execution to challenge the orders of the court. Legal Affairs correspondent Murtala Inusa has more.
It is now clear the Electoral Commission has been given the go-ahead to complete its work in relation to 4 outstanding constituencies: Tema Central, Ablekuma North, Okainkwe Central, and of course Techiman South. What the court has ordered is that there's issues surrounding all these 4 constituencies. With respect to Tema Central, the EC is to collate results of 2 outstanding polling centers, add the results to the already collated polling stations, and declare the winner by January 6. If you go to Ablekuma, for instance, the court is saying that some outstanding 62 also ought to be collated, result added in the constituency whereby Nana Ekuye and Urabna Obin are contesting each other. And if you come to the Okainkwe Central, where Patrick Yabuama and Baba Sadiq are facing each other, what the court has directed is that the 31 outstanding polling centers ought to be collated and the results declared, added to the previous one, the already collated, and the winner declared. If you go to Techiman South, a similar order has been made by relation to over 140 polling centers. So that has been the order of the court. But moment after the court, there has been some reactions from the parties involved, particularly the NDC side.
There was always a very curious, collusion between the Electoral Commission and, the NPP. Very obviously in my constituency, I will speak for my constituency. So right from the beginning, we could tell that they weren't going to allow the rules to apply, that they were going to always hijack the process and make sure that we didn't have a chance to deal with evidence as it's supposed to be.
we've always maintained that the pink sheets that we have show that we've won in these 31 polling stations. The only challenge we had was the fact that during collation, we began to notice that these numbers were being swapped, and that's where we began to raise the issues. These 31 polling stations, the pink sheet that we have, and one of these days, I'm sure I would actually put it out. We have all our pink sheets, and the 31 blemished polling stations. When you look on the pink sheets, those numbers, those that have won those 31 polling stations, it's us. But during collation, we noticed that from the EC's points, the numbers were being swapped, and that is where we raised issues. And so we had initially tried to inquire from the EC, how do they resolve this particular challenge? Because I don't manufacture pink sheets. The pink sheets are a copy of what you give to me.
We have our pink sheets intact, but the fact of the matter is that we must ensure that there's justice. In 2020, you know what happened. In 2024, almost the same thing in Teachman South, isn't it? And when they contended and had all the exhibits, that they had a summary sheet, they had a rate and everything, the AC went ahead, isn't it? This time, we have everything attached, but they never talked about it. Did you hear them talk about it? No. I get me. So for us, our legal team is going to look into that. But what I want you to know that when we want peace, there should be justice. And everybody is free. But to treat certain people as social class, first class elites, and others as inferior groups, that's not going to work.
Lawyer for the NDC candidate, Edudzi Tamaklo, immediately informed journalists that the party disagrees with the decision of the court. They already had it in mind how the decision was going to go, and has come with a notice of appeal, which has since been filed.
Like I said in court, you can only oblige what the judge has said, but I must say that it is something that we anticipated. So we came to court prepared with our notices of appeal. And as you can see, immediately the judgment was read, we ran to the registry of the court to file the respective notices of appeal in respect of the 4 affected constituencies, as you can see. So with us here is the notice of appeal and the subsequent stay application. It is something that we knew was going to happen. With the ruling on the prelim, it was clear where the judge was going. And so we took preemptive steps to do what is needful. So I can tell you, and as you can confirm here, we have the respective notices of appeal. We have them here, and we'll take steps right now to get them, the legal requirement. The order must be served on the Electoral Commission before they can proceed. And like my law said, they are now working on the order. We have our stay application, we have the notice of appeal, and we take steps. This matter is not ending here, and let nobody be deceived. This matter cannot end here.
In the coming days, we'll know how important these processes that have been filed to arrest the decision of the court will be like. But what is clear now is that the court is ordering the EC to conclude or finalize these constituencies on or before January 6, 2025. But one constituency that has also been mentioned is in relation to Obuasi East. What has happened to Obuasi East? The applicant has withdrawn the matter. But what has his counsel been saying?
It's based on instructions from the client, as you have rightly pointed out. We have more information which we think will make his case stronger, but which we have not put in our affidavits here. And also, this court does not have time, so we decide to withdraw and come back. That is why we discontinued the action with liberty to reapply.
From the law court complex here in Accra, with Salah Inusa, GHOne.
So it's our legal affairs correspondent Murtala Inusa there, and he's joined me in studio for more on this matter. Murtala, very interesting developments and play of events here, and a speedy notice of appeal, in fact, by the NDC. Absolutely. As well. First of all, help us understand the specific reliefs that are being sought by the applicants.
Okay, so like we do know, 4 constituencies are in issue here. Right. The Tema Central, and the applicant in this matter is Charles Forson. And of course, the interested party on the NDC side is EB Bright. We go to Ablekuma North. Nana Ekwe of the NPP is the applicant. Then Irabna Obi is the interested party, the NDC candidate. Okaikwe Central, Patrick Yaubuama is the applicant, and the interested party here is Baba Sadiq. Then you go to Techiman South. Nana Eje Mensa Kosa is the applicant. Then Christopher Beire is the interested party from the NDC side. And what the MPP candidate, each of them was seeking from the court by way of the mandamus application. Let me take the opportunity again to explain what that mandamus application is all about. The Electoral Commission is a body that was created by statute. And per our laws, it is the EC that organizes public election, collates the elections and declare results or declare winners. What the applicants were asking the court was to the effect that the elections that have been conducted in these 4 constituencies, as we speak, are not complete. And for the work to be completed, it is the EC that will have to complete it by way of declaring who the winner of the constituencies are. And as we speak, they are saying that there's no winner. So the court should compel the Electoral Commission to go and perform its public function or its public duty as per the law. And that is what is given birth by mandamus application. So that's why they went to court, for the court to compel or demand from force the Electoral Commission to go and perform these functions. Today, Justice Forsenban sat on the matter and then made its rulings in relation to all the 4 applications. And in respect of all of them, like you mentioned, the court said Tema East, Tema Central. There were 2 outstanding polling stations that have not been collated. The EC should go and collate it, add the results to the already collated one, and declare the winner. The same thing should happen to Ablekuma South. There are 62 outstanding polling centers. Complete them, add the results to the already collated one, and declare the winner. Okaikwe Central, where Patrick Yaubuama and Baba Sadiq are facing each other. There is an outstanding 31. Polling station of 31. Go and collate it and add it to the already collated one. Then, of course, Techiman South, 147. Go and do the same thing. But in the course of the court making the ruling, when it got to the Ablekuma North, the numbers were 62. When the court was making the ruling on the Okaikwe Central, the court repeated the number 62 instead of 31. The same thing happened at the Techiman South. Instead of 147, the court mentioned 62. So the people in the court were wondering what is happening. Is it something like there was a copied and paste something of that sort? But the court made it clear that whatever was happening in the Tema Central constituency, the rulings and then the references, the entire decision of the court would have effect on the other ones, the other 3, because so all of them were seeking.
Error by the court.
It was an error based on fact, by the numbers. So just substituting 62 with 31, absolutely, and that was the mistake on the part of the judge. And then the NDC, but Gary Nimaku was the one that even drew the court attention to the Okaikwe Central one. That, oh my lord, it's supposed to be 31. Oh, what did I write? It was 62. So they have to correct that. Then the Techiman South, the court will have to make its own calculation again, then come out with the right figure. But the interested party, that the NDC side, had issues with how that discrepancies all came about. But what has come to the end effect of what the judge is saying is that all those declarations that have been made earlier, they were done without full the complement of the other polling stations. So the EC should go.
So in this case, it doesn't matter per se. I mean, the not getting the figures correct. It's just assumed.
So
what's the impact?
The impact for the interested party, they thought that no, the due diligence was not done. That is how come the judge made those mistakes in the ruling. So for them, they are not taking that lightly at all, and they intend to challenge that. And like you heard Edugita, immediately, and they came with a notice of appeal and a stay of proceedings or execution, I might say, because they had anticipated because of the earlier ruling, that objection that they raised challenging the jurisdiction of the court, which was overruled. So they were quick to assert that, look, it is possible that the court will grant the mandamus application. What are the grounds that we have? What other opportunities that we have? So let's come with a stay of execution and then a notice of appeal, just so to notify the party that we are not done. Once we are not done, it means the orders of the court cannot be carried. And like you said, they say that immediately in the course of the ruling, Edugyi Tamaklo, who is counsel for the interested parties, the NDC side, inquired from the court when the ruling was going to be ready. And the court said, oh, immediately after the sitting, we'll do some few add up, and then the ruling will be ready. And they said, if that was ready, we'll immediately pick it up, then go upstairs. They are going to the court of appeal. And then so what has happened, even though the EC, the court is saying
has ordered
the EC should go and collate those outstanding polling centers, they are saying that these applications that they are filing will stop the EC from carrying out that order of the court. What they are saying,
that is likely to
that is what, unless the EC is served with the processes that, the order that has been made, there's been an order that is going to challenge it. So hold on, let's go and challenge
that. The court has ordered that the EC does this by the 6th.
By the 6th. So,
or before.
In effect, what is the intention or the picture that we are getting is that these constituencies are likely not to be part of the processes that will happen in Parliament, leading to...
Is that how we rule? But he did the factual mistake twice, not once, twice.
He corrected himself.
And continue, they corrected him.
Yes, he was corrected.
So what
has to do with figures?
It has to do with what?
Figures.
So now anybody who sits at the High Court judge and somebody come and tell you a pack of lies, you accept it and say that because of what he said, I'm going to rule in favor of him. That is what has happened today. You were in the court. I was seated with you people. Is it fair? Is it fair to we the interested parties? And you had one NDC to allow this one, won't allow it. What?
Right, Musa, so was your engagement with
yes,
Rashid computer.
Tanko computer.
Absolutely.
So he
now, right, carry on.
He was very emphatic that look, even though the court has given an order for the EC to go and collate and all that, we think or we know that will not happen. And what will happen is that our 4 parliamentary candidates, they are the MPs elect, and they will be part of the swearing in. So in the course of the week, we'll know, or from tomorrow going, we'll know. But already, the EC, I've seen a statement from the EC are calling for some meeting or some conferences of a sort. So we'll know more in the coming days.
We'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. Thank you, Marisela Inusa, the legal affairs correspondent, giving us the latest on that issue. Now, in other news, the outgoing majority caucus in Parliament has accused 2 members of President-elect Mahama's interim national security team of thuggery and inciting violence against MPP appointees. President-elect John Dramani Mahama announced a 6-member team to oversee and coordinate national security issues pending substantive appointments. In a statement signed by the special aide Felix Kwache Ofosu, he disclosed that the former Minister for the Interior, Prosper Douglas Bani, will lead the team. The mandate begins on Tuesday, January 7, 2025. And other members of the team include Lieutenant General Peter Augustine Blay, retired, former Chief of Defense Staff Kofi Totobi Kwache, former Minister for National Security Larry Glevo Latte, former National Security Coordinator Brigadier General Fusaini Idrisu, retired, and COP Nathaniel Kofi Boache. But the outgoing majority at a press conference accused 2 members of the team, Kofi Totobi Kwache and Larry Glevo Latte, of being behind the recent attacks, with further plans to foment more after the swearing in of the president-elect. Here is MP for Asokwa, Patricia Appiaje, addressing the media.
We have become aware of multiple instances in which government officials have faced threats to their lives, and in some cases suffered attacks on their properties. Honorable Ursula Owusu Ekofo, the Minister of Communication and Digitalization, had her office and residence vandalized by a group of about 15 NDC thugs. This resulted in the theft of a pickup truck, 3 motorbikes, a television, and other valuables. This situation is extremely disturbing, as it has instilled fear in our public servants, deterring them from effectively performing their duties, and destabilize our governance structures. We must stress that the physical harm, intimidation, and threats have no place in the free exercise of political rights. In addition to these troubling developments, we have received reliable intelligence indicating that acts of violence and thuggery are being orchestrated by certain elements of the NDC leadership. Mr. Kofi Totobi-Kwachi and Colonel Larry Bavlolate, retired, are the key leaders of the NDC who are behind these NDC attacks and inspiring the numbers to violence to innocent Ghanaians.
Well, let's stay a while longer on this issue and speak with security analyst Sani Adib for more on this. Good evening to you. It's good to have you. Now, first of all, from your assessment of this team put together, what do you make of the persons assembled by the incoming president to coordinate security and the names, the members?
Well, Natalie, these are certainly the name. They are much less character. They have been within the security space for years on end. They bring to bear vast industrial expertise. I mean, someone like Prosper Bani has been an interior minister before. Colonel Bavlolate, we all know, is a former national security coordinator. He's the former commanding officer of the 64 regiment. He also has a lot of experience. This is someone who has worked even beyond the country at the AU regional level, and his expertise is surely not a matter of contestation. General Idrisu is the former head of Ghana's Defense Intelligence. Okay, so he would also bring to bear some intelligence expertise. We know Kofi Bawku and the good things he's done when he was the Ashanti Regional Police Commander. Totobi Bawku is not a new name. Right. He has been within that space for years on end and also has rich expertise to bring to bear. General Blake is also very much known within the security space, and for some of us who have studied security, and keeps coming up because there are certain things he's done in the past that is used as a case study for students of security. So surely these are the men who we are to look out to, and I'm very confident that they would be able to deliver.
Right. Now, Adib, you say you are confident and these are the men. It's a strong team is what you're simply saying, given the experience, of course, and the length of service that they have. However, we've got the outgoing majority, as you're aware, at a press conference, having accused 2 specific members of the team, Kofi Totobi-Kwachi, Larry Bavlolate, of specifically being behind these recent attacks, thuggery, they describe it, inciting violence among their supporters as against the MPP appointees. What's your reaction to this accusation put forward?
I'm absolutely gobsmacked. I'm shocked. These are damning allegations. We're a country that is governed by law. As the NPP reported to the police, because surely if you have any evidence pointing them to such thuggery, as well-meaning Ghanaians are not seeking to capitalize politically, you would go to the nearest police station to report. Has that been done? So far as I am concerned, and I can give you many different cases, the Bavlolate, for example, intervened when some youth deceived the Ghana gas officers. He doesn't know where they came from. He doesn't know them from anywhere. But there were some very respected Ghanaians who called him and asked him to intervene. He just didn't give the orders for them to leave. He drove there himself, and they were not even happy to see him. But he was able to reach an agreement with them to leave. Just at of them leaving, the military started firing, and that is what incensed them more. But still, he was able to manage the situation. Secondly, there were some individuals who had besieged the Mahabo, and it was later found out that some of them had come from the Asherman area. Mr. Govlolate was called to intervene. They are not his voice. He didn't send them there. He was still also able to intervene, and later they withdrew. And recently, there was an allegation of a van carrying goods, and it was at the airport and was supposed to leave, and a whole lot happened. When the boys were there, he intervened again later. So you see, if you watch that video, and I still have that video on my phone, some of the boys were casting aspersions against Mr. Govlolate because he had asked them to withdraw and let the rat be dead. They were not happy with him. So I am absolutely shocked, gobsmacked, that without an iota of evidence, the NPP would come out and make such allegations against an innocent man. I know Dr. Vikwachi. I know him so well. And I'm surprised that such allegations would also be made against him. So, I mean, I am disappointed that these persons who are seeking to help and manage or calm situations are rather dragged into it. And I think that is most disappointing. Right. And it is not to pass judgment, Natalie. What the NDC should do is to report to the nearest police station so the police can conduct their
right, Adib. So you're saying that the MPP should have these cases reported. Now, we had MP Fasokwa Patricia Appiaje highlighting the home and office of the communications minister Isla Owusu having been vandalized. Is that enough evidence from where you sit?
So that would culminate from a police investigation. Has that issue been reported to the police? Have the police gotten to the crime scene? Have they done their own forensics? What have they uncovered? What are the leads? Do they have suspects? What have they done about that? Or is just based on Honorable Patricia's imaginations? Because surely, for you to tie someone as respected as Govlolate or to be Kwachi to such acts of lawlessness is a big deal, and you should have evidence. So where is the evidence? They came to spoke to the media, and I would have expected the media to follow up and find out where is your evidence? What tools? What is the proof that indeed these individuals are very much connected to what we have seen happening lately? I think it is unfortunate, and I do hope that the police will look into the matter and get to the point. But so far as I am concerned, based on my personal experiences and what I have witnessed with my two eyes, these individuals have done a lot of work, not just within Accra, nationwide, to stop or prevent any acts of vandalism, looting. And so for them to be dragged into this is what I find really unfortunate.
Very well. Thank you, as always, for your time. Adib Sani joining us on that issue. Security analyst. Well, certainly more subsequently from you. Thank you, Adib. Let's turn to some other stories tonight. The planning committee for the inauguration of President-elect John Dramani Mahama has announced stringent measures to ensure a seamless and orderly event come January 7, 2025. These measures include roadblocks and restricted access to the inner perimeter of the Independence Square. It's aimed at facilitating a smooth ceremony.
Ensure an orderly and well-organized events. 3 zones have been created within the Independence Square for the ceremony. I need to remind the public that this ceremony is a parliamentary session. And that means that Parliament will be relocating its sitting from Parliament House to this square for the swearing in. So at all material moments, we must bear in mind that it is a parliamentary session, and therefore certain rules apply. In accordance with this, the enclave for the parliamentary sitting will be totally cordoned off, and access to this cordoned off area will be strictly by invitation. The following roads within Accra will be temporarily closed to vehicular traffic and will be reopened immediately after the event. Now, the 28th February road from the SEPS headquarters to Castle Road Junction will be closed to the public. The Osu Cemetery traffic lights on the local streets will also be closed. The Castle Road from the AU Circle to the Osu Cemetery traffic lights will also remain closed during this event. The Starless 91 road will be closed at the Ministry's traffic light intersection. Now, traffic from the 28th February road emanating from Laboni, and Osu toward the Central Business District will be diverted to the Salem Avenue traffic lights at the Castle traffic lights to link up with the hospital.
Away from that, the National Youth Organizer of the National Democratic Congress, George Opare Addo, has given the outgoing administration a dismal score of 1/10. According to him, the performance of President Nana Addo's government fell short of economic development, resulting in widespread poverty among Ghanaians. Addo made these comments at the walk organized by the NDC to celebrate its overwhelming victory in the 2024 general elections. It was dubbed the 57% Victory Walk.
The walk, meant to celebrate the NDC's electoral victory, commenced at the Tetekwashe interchange, terminated at the Elwak Park, amidst music and dancing. Scores of party supporters and leading members joined in the walk dubbed 57% Victory Walk. National Youth Organizer of the NDC, George Opare Addo, who spoke to GHOne News, ranked the outgoing administration as below average.
We all know the current state of Ghana. The current state is a state of despair, a state of confusion, a state where ordinary Ghanaians cannot afford a day's meal. That is the true state of Ghana. A country that is broke and on its knee. Akufo-Addo was a mistake of a president, and we are here to correct that mistake. That an economy that was a B+ economy. Today we are rated as a junk economy. So over a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give him 1.
Member of Parliament for Ladade-Kotopon constituency, Ritana Adole Soa, addressed the supporters, urging the incoming government appointees to prioritize national interests over personal gain.
Let us be rest assured and keep our fingers crossed. Wherever you find yourself, any appointment they give you, know that you are working for the people of Ghana. This is not the time for us to look for money into our pockets, but let us work hard for our people, and our doors will be open wherever we find ourselves. Come and just knock, and we'll work together to make sure that the NDC members will also be happy to lead us into a better Ghana.
Osman Ayariga, Deputy National Youth Organizer, cautioned party youth against attacking individuals perceived to be involved in corrupt practices under the outgoing administration, advising them instead to report such incidents to law enforcement agencies.
To the youth who are out there also seizing and beating some innocent citizens, please, if you catch anybody who is suspected to be a thief, hand them over to the appropriate quarters to deal with them. Whether you can hand them over the evidence to oral or to the Ghana police, let us do that. Let us not lose the goodwill we are currently enjoying from the Ghanaian citizens.
The NDC plans to conclude its victory celebrations with a musical concert at the University of Ghana on January 5, 2025.
You're watching News Tonight here on GHOne TV. Do stay with us. We bring you more news shortly. Welcome back to News Tonight here on GHOne TV, live across the world on Facebook and X at GHOne TV. And some more news this evening. Some prominent natives of Bawku are expressing optimism that the age-long conflict will be resolved by the incoming John Mahama administration. The natives, who are prominent members of the NDC, believe that the president-elect will make do his promise of resolving the crisis which has plagued the area for years once he takes office. Musa Lansa was at the 2024 edition of the annual Salmon Peed Festival in Bawku and found this report.
A show of traditional opulence as well as rich display of culture was what greeted patrons of this year's Salmon Peed Festival of the Kusab traditional area. Salmon Peed, celebrated annually to thank the gods and ancestors for a good harvest, is a point of gathering of sons and daughters of the Kusasi tribe from across the country. This year's event comes at a time of renewed violence between the Kusasi and the Mampusi tribes over the enskinment of a rival Bokunaba by the Nairi. This did not stop the large crowd that trooped into Bawku from celebrating the festival.
We are here to march in solidarity with each and everybody who loves peace. We are not violent people, but given the chance, when you pressure, when you push a man to the wall, he will react. That is natural.
Because no one wants to surrender. As in, this group doesn't want to surrender for the other group to take what? To take ahead of them. So that is making everything difficult. So I think if the pride comes down, there will be peace in Bawku.
The Deba of chiefs and people attracted dignitaries from across the country, including a delegation from the Asantehene, the Upper East Regional House of Chiefs, as well as politicians from the area. The turnout for the festival has reignited some hope in the people that the new government, led by John Dramani Mahama, will deal with the conflict once they assume office on January 7th, 2025. Cletus Avoka is a member of parliament for the Zebula constituency.
Leading to the expungement of Seydou Abakari as a rival Bokunaba by the Nairi. Gracefully, the current government declared the expungement illegal, that as Seydou Abakari is a fugitive, he cannot be Bokunaba. Zigorana is a recognized Bokunaba by law and by everything, and therefore Abakari must be arrested and prosecuted. But we lack political will. Because of lack of political will, we find ourselves like this today. That Abakari has been brought back to Bawku, and this is the challenge we have, making young soldiers, policemen and so to suffer in Bawku.
For former Member of Parliament for Garu, Dominic Azuma Azimbe, the creation of a Kusasi region will help put the conflict to rest.
That is the surest way of breaking away completely from those trouble areas, because we're going to have a region where we will have a president of the regional House of Chiefs, who obviously is going to be the Bamfurana Aburawa Zoka II. He's going to be the president of the regional House of Chiefs. We are going to have our own regional coordinating council, and certainly we're going to have one of the engineers from the Kusasi area to be the regional minister. We're going to also develop through infrastructure development, a university, a regional hospital, and all those kind of things. It will create opportunity for job opportunities, and with the idle hands that are involved in this conflict, I'm sure they will all have gainful employment, and that's going to abate the security situation we find ourselves.
Reading the speech on behalf of the overlord of the Kusau traditional area, Naba Asigri Abugwagwa Zoka II, his spokesperson called on the government to work hard to deal with the violence in the area.
These disturbances have impacted negatively on the entire community. Bawku, which was once a vibrant economic hub in the north, has in the past 3 years deteriorated due to the needless conflict, which has led to the loss of several lives and property. Since the lifting of the ban on the arrest warrant on Seydou Abakari and his subsequent return to Bawku, his return is a blatant disrespect to myself and Kusa. And the only way to address this issue is for government to take bold steps to enforce the laws of Ghana by arresting and prosecuting Seydou Abakari.
Despite the great showing in terms of crowd at the festival grounds, the security apparatus in the area left no stone unturned in making sure criminals did not take advantage to foment trouble. For GHOne News, Musa Lansa reported.
Well, away from Bawku, the management and children of the Street Academy are appealing to the government and the general public to support the construction of an AstroTurf to enhance their recreational activities. Management believes that the facility would not only provide a safe space for physical activities, but also foster discipline and mental well-being among the children.
Ghana Union of Traders Association's Heart to Heart Ladies Foundation has donated a variety of essential items worth 35,000 Ghana cedis to the Street Academy, supporting its mission to care for vulnerable children. The donation included food items, toiletries, clothing, and educational materials. Speaking at the event, Hajia Muni Buari, President of the Heart to Heart Ladies Foundation, explains that as traders, they understand the importance of community and solidarity.
This is an academy that has been formed to help the children on the streets, basically. And when you look around the environment here, it's so touchy. We sympathize with the school and the people around. People don't have money to care for their children's school fees and all that, but this school, they are doing very good. The way they are helping the kids, feeding them, we reach out to everybody. Please come on board and help, because they need our support. When you look around, the school is not fair.
You're watching News Tonight. Next, we bring you business news. GHOne TV understands that some unidentified persons have raided the warehouse of the National Food Buffer Stock Company in Tamale, stealing over 150 bags of maize and other foodstuffs intended for senior high schools in that region. Reports say the stolen maize belongs to 15 schools in the area, and this is the second time unidentified persons have raided a warehouse in Tamale to steal food items in less than a month.
The items came when these current SS1s reported. So it was served to us as emergency supplies. And you know, they reported not quite a long. They went for Christmas break. And really, the school, Free School Coordinator made the allocation on the 19th of December. And the schools left for recess on that very 19th or 20th. So we couldn't have taken it, one, as at break time. Two, by then, the so-called party boys were lying down here, saying that they were protecting the Metro Assembly warehouse. So in an attempt for us to pick it during the holidays, they may think otherwise and do whatever they did yesterday. So we didn't want it to occur. So we said we should advise that we should wait once schools resumed, then come and pick it. And lo and behold, yesterday, school resumed yesterday, and we started taking them yesterday. Because 3 schools came to pick: Ghana Senior High School, Tamale Senior High School, and Business Senior High School. They came to pick their items yesterday. Pending today or Monday, about the rest of the schools will come and pick. But unfortunately, in the night, they came and then invaded the place and did distance.
Well, let's now engage with our correspondent, Noah Nash, for more on this rather troubling development. Noah, good evening to you. What more information have you gathered? Is there any further details about these unidentified persons now?
Apparently, I tried to engage the NDC network, actually, because the comment made by the officer about the fact that some youth were stationed there who were actually protecting the place. A reliable source told me that initially there were 2 police officers who were stationed at that particular yard, purposely because of the looting activities that were taking place within the metropolis. So we don't know who withdrew those 2 men, and actually they also don't work 24 hours because the 2 guardmen who were positioned from the Ghana Police Service actually work from morning to evening around 5 or 6 when they actually close and go back to their various homes. So party faithfuls, according to the source, was telling me that they are the ones who take over at night. But when I spoke to the NDC team, they said they have not instructed any of their members or youth to actually invade that place or take anything. But they feel that it is criminals who actually just use the opportunity as NDC and NPP to invade the place and actually loot. So those who join them in the looting process could probably be both political parties, but not the men that they have sanctioned to be around the place. And also, there is a shortage of food for all the various 22 schools that are supposed to even take part or take their food from that warehouse. Maize, oil, peas have all not been supplied. So as it stands now, most of the schools will have to either get their own oil to cook the little rice that have been supplied to most of the schools, and that is the only option available until when maybe next week when government supplies them with oil and other food items.
Right now, Noah, as it stands, has there been any arrests made so far?
We've heard some arrests have been made, but my source within the police says that the people they picked up apparently have not been for any crime. Apparently, they are also using them for the purposes of gathering intelligence to know the main brain behind the looting. Because the people who initiated the looting were not the ones that were apprehended. So they wanted to know the people who instigated the uprising, the looting at exercise that took place last night. That is started from 10 p.m. up the way to 2 p.m., 2 a.m. this morning.
All right. Noah, thank you for bringing us up to speed on that issue. Noah Nash is our correspondent there now. Certainly more on it subsequently. In other stories this evening, the Oti region is facing a severe fuel shortage, leaving drivers and Okada riders stranded and disrupting daily activities. Motorists and other petroleum product users endure long queues at the few filling stations as residents scramble for limited fuel supplies.
The scarcity, attributed to ongoing supply chain challenges, has forced many drivers and motorcyclists to idle for days, affecting transportation and local businesses. Okada riders, essential to the region's transport network, have been hit hard.
For the past 3 weeks now, or 4 weeks now, there's only fuel at the KGB distance. So that compelled me to come.
So there's no fuel in KGB, right?
Not at all.
So how did you come to know that there is fuel in Panta?
Actually, I had a police here, and I didn't call them.
Some resort to charging higher fares due to the inflated cost of petrol on the black market.
There were 8 filling stations, but almost 2 weeks, not 3, and a fancy. But and therefore, this only one, and a fancy, star oil. And I didn't know I had fuel and a star oil for a fuel and maybe. I know I'm saying, I'm not going to do by a mine. Jaman no pa isi asati an tese start oil asanya fuel ni bi ena ma na ya be bodom pe mo a anopa tutu kan de oba anu ma nkofo mu gu akra de mo bro 300 we grade the sake do na ba from bra ntina we yiti ana ma na ya be bodom pe mo ani na fuel asen pa.
A fuel station attendant at Star Oil in Nkwanta South disclosed that the station had adopted rationing and prioritized essential services to manage the crisis.
I can see the pressure is there. Just that we have our company, we plan ahead in case of this. That's why we have something with it down in terms of that's why we consider those other actors that we are able to supply our fuel. How can we get our.
Despite these measures, demand continues to exceed supply, creating uncertainty among residents. Drivers and Okada riders endure long queues as petrol shortages disrupt lives in the Oti region.
In some more business news, Savannah Regional Minister Saeed Jibril has suffered a major setback after a suspected arson attack destroyed his 75-hectare maize harvest in the West Gonja municipality on Wednesday. The maize, which was awaiting dehusking, was allegedly set ablaze, leaving the minister and his team devastated.
6 years investment that I've done, a 75-hectare. We had finished harvesting maize and gathered them, did a 10-meter fire belt so that fire cannot go into the heaps. When I heard that my harvest was on fire, I was not really happy.
Muhazu Jibril, a prominent advocate for the development of the Savannah region, voiced concerns about the motive behind the arson and its implications for agricultural productivity in the area.
Everything, the 2 heaps, at the same time, that is what has really surprised us. At the same time, they were all on fire. So it was very clear that it wasn't just ordinary bushfire. Somebody would have caused this mayhem. And for what reason, I don't have an idea. And I think that these are some of the things that would deter a lot of people, particularly this part of the world.
A farmhand, Abudu Prosper, lamented the loss, describing it as a severe blow.
The way minister just put some money, fertilizer, and they're all this.
Lots more business news on our website, starfm.com.gh. We've got sports news next. In sports this evening, Medeama SC will welcome Kumasi Asante Kotoko to the TNA Stadium on Sunday in a highly anticipated Week 16 fixture of the Ghana Premier League. This matchup pits two in-form teams against each other as they vie for supremacy in the top flight. Currently sitting on 7 wins, 3 draws and 4 losses from 14 matches, Medeama boasts a solid defense record, conceding just 11 goals this season. Asante Kotoko, however, enters the clash in scintillating form, riding a 4-game winning streak with victories over Bibiani Gold Stars, Dreams FC, Hearts of Oak and Indiana Stars. Well, on that note, that's how we wrap up news tonight this evening. Do visit our website, starfm.com.gh, for lots more sports, local and international stories. It was produced by Musa Lanza. I'm Natalie Fort. From I and the entire team, thanks for watching. Have a good evening.